Hello.
Yes. Doing things.
Doing things. I feel like every time we start recording, I have to put on like this huge like MC voice. I'm like, "Welcome back. Today we have blah 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 blah. Some shit movies that we watched over the holiday. Yeah. Okay, let's get started now." I don't know. Whereas normally I'd just be like, the fuck, man.
Mm-hmm. It's like, yeah, some movies.
So this episode is the first one we're doing for 2018. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be... I know I've been hinting that it's Star Wars. Hinted everywhere. Like, hinted because we sent out, like, the Facebook post today. And I sent out an Instagram post today.
But there's a 3 Billboards thing as well.
Yeah, well, I hinted it's Star Wars because obviously that's, like, the big summer hit.
Yeah.
3 Billboards is obviously... I think if you don't know what it's about and if you don't know, like, you know, what it... You know, how good it actually is, you probably won't be interested in watching it because I know I spoke to a lot of friends about it and they were like, it seems boring.
I think it depends who you talk to.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't see many people, younger people wanting to see it for some reason. I don't know why.
Well, I can see like people our age possibly wanting to see it, but it'll depend on the type of movie they're into.
Yeah,
because it's really not anyone's cup of tea.
Well, it's many people's cup of tea, obviously. Yeah, well, it's made money and people like it and it's getting nominated for awards.
Yeah. But we also want to talk about some films we watched that aren't those two. So
we just caught up a bit over the holidays or did some other stuff.
Yeah. I mean, there were a list of films I wanted to watch that I did not watch.
Just don't always get time. It's a busy time.
It is a busy time. We work and then... We work.
And then holidays and Christmas and whatever.
And then I work a lot.
Yep.
And then, so I think it all just piles up. But yeah, I know you watched some films that weren't necessarily new ones, that were just
I saw a few
school.
from last year that I didn't get a chance to see. Mm-hmm. Like It Comes at Night, which was pretty good.
I don't remember any of those titles.
So I think it was a small budget film, but it was badly marketed. It has like a reputation of being badly marketed as a horror film, and it's pretty horrific, but it's not a horror film in terms of like people turn up and they're going to get jump scared every 5 seconds, because it's not like that at all.
Okay,
it's very slow, even though it's like an hour and a half. Yeah. It's very slow moving. It's basically about some sort of like slightly post-apocalyptic environment. Like there's no cities or anything. It's basically set in the forest around a family's house. And they basically just boarded up all the windows. And they've got like a buffer zone of like part of the house that they don't use, just to like keep a distance between them and the outside, I think. Yeah. And it's like sort of pretty clear that there was some sort of sickness that spread and killed a lot of people, so they've kind of quarantined themselves, and lots of people have done that.
Yeah. How do they get food though?
They grow it? I don't know. Like that.
Like a little pot plant.
The opening sequence is them taking their grandfather out the backyard, who's clearly unwell.
Yeah.
They've got like gas masks and everything on. They take him out in like plastic, and then they put him in a hole and they shoot him, and then they bury him. Oh. That's the opening sequence of the film. I think they burn him first, though. I can't remember.
Burn him first, then shoot him.
Yeah, they burn him first, so there's no disease. Like, can't get out. Sort of thing. There's like plastic sheeting in the buffer zone area, I think.
Okay.
So that, not much can get through. But I think it's Joel Edgerton and a bunch of other people who I don't know, or I may have seen them before, but I don't know who they are. But it's pretty miserable at the end, as those films tend to be. It's not like it's completely unpredictable or anything like that. I kind of saw what was going to happen, but it's about paranoia, because what ends up happening is they let a family stay with them.
Oh.
Because they find a guy tries to break into the house thinking it's empty in the middle of the night or something like that, and then they kind of capture him and keep him for a while, and then he seems to be pretty honest, and then he goes back to find out like whether he actually does have a family that he's searching for supplies for, and he does. He's got a wife and a kid. So Joel Edgerton's basically, okay, we'll bring them in. They seem okay. And then it's like for a while it is like everybody's getting along and that sort of stuff, and then it's like he spots like small either inconsistencies in their story originally that could be nothing, but he doesn't think they're nothing, and then it's like you never really find out whether they are something to be worried about. And
oh, I love that.
And it gets more and more until it sort of builds at the end, because then he starts getting suspicion that their son is sick. Like he's sick and he might have something and he might spread it and all that sort of stuff. And then there's a big final part which is pretty miserable, and then it ends.
I like that. I mean, not that I like the fact that they're miserable, but I like shows that are...
It's really well done.
Talks about paranoia.
It's really well done, but yeah.
I'm sorry, your cat's chasing that goddamn dragonfly, and all I can do is look at your cat.
Yeah, she's fine. But yeah. So I watched that.
Yeah.
I
should watch that, yeah.
I watched Get Out.
Oh, yeah. Was it good?
It was good. It was good. I enjoyed that.
I know what happens in that. I just too many people have seen it, and I've just heard too much about it.
I don't think I really took much notice of what people were saying. I didn't really delve into it.
I just know,
too
like,
much.
it's like, you know, it's kind of messed up with the whole family and all that. Yeah. What else?
I watched a film from 2016 called The Greasy Strangler, which is kind of...
So your cat's in the back.
It's a very particular sort of, I'm going to say, comedy film. But, I mean, people compare it to... There's two guys called Tim and Eric, Tim Heidecker and Eric Weirheim, who make very, very specific sketch comedy in America, usually through Adult Swim. One of their shows, I think I've even shown you a clip from it before, is called Check It Out with Dr. Steve Brule.
You did, yeah.
It's a spin-off from their sketch show, I think it's just called the Tim and Eric Show. And it's John C. Reilly on, basically, like, he's like a weird doctor who goes around interviewing people about various subjects, and it looks like a Channel 31 public access show, and it's really funny. But it's a very specific sort of comedy. Not everybody would like it, and The Greasy Strangler feels like that, kind of.
Okay.
Kind of.
Yeah.
A little more
It's
staged. A little more staged, and a little more over the top and weird. Like, there's just there's so much, like, really gross nudity in it. In a, like an old guy. And the concept of the film is basically this old guy who was with his son called Big Ronnie. He runs a business where he takes people around, supposedly, like, on tours to famous disco locations, I think in LA. And it's just, he wears like a pink outfit when he does it with shorts and everything.
Oh, okay.
It just looks ridiculous. And his son's kind of this, like, a bit overweight, like, big, like, loser, glasses, long hair, sort of. And, like, one of the tours, this, like, girl who's weird looking as well, kind of is attracted to the son. And then there's, like, this whole love triangle thing going on with the father, the son,
That's
and
weird.
this woman. Yeah, and at the same time, the father is the killer known as the Greasy Strangler, who goes around, covers himself in grease and strangles people to death. And then he always drops by the same car wash at the end of the night and runs himself through the car wash to wash himself.
Oh my god.
It's super weird and retarded, and it's so many weird moments. And everything's just kind of off. The dialogue, the way it's delivered, the acting, everything.
Yeah.
It's all so off and so much the same that it works, in my opinion. It would not be everybody's cup of tea. My favourite scene in the whole film is concerning one of the members of the first tour group I think we see in the film is an Indian man who's got a lisp. So he's got a very thick accent and a lisp on top of it, and it's funny enough as it is when that happens. And then they're at their motel that night because they didn't like the tour, and he goes out. He's going out to the vending machine.
I think she's stuck. Oh, never mind, she got it.
No, she's fine. She's done that before. But they're all standing outside the motel at a vending machine. And the Indian guy's apparently, put money in, and it's not dropping his paprika chips from the thing. And he's basically talking about how he likes to eat them, how he likes to put his tongue in the middle of the ridges, which is where all the salty chip dust is. And And then because of his accent, one of the guys goes, "What are the chips made of?" And he says like 50 times, he's supposed to say potato, but it comes out potato. And they're going, "What? What's it made of?" Potato every time. And he says it exactly the same every
Oh my
time.
god. Oh, that's so funny.
But it's a very odd movie, but it's great.
I can imagine you liking something like that. Well,
I watched Lego Batman movie.
I did as well.
That was great. I
That was
enjoyed that.
It was very funny. I liked how it made fun of itself.
Mm.
Because I know because it was on Netflix, so we went and watched it. We know to watch it.
I saw it on Netflix, and then I just went, I may as well watch this. I haven't seen it.
I'm just eating chocolate biscuits. I'm sorry.
Okay.
These are all stuck together. I have to eat them.
Okay. That's
Do you want
that's
to?
justifiable reason. Yeah. But yes.
Um,
And the other film I watched, or the other notable film, I watched more films, but I can't remember all of them. The other notable film I watched was A Ghost Story, which is a pretty small film, I think.
I've heard of that one.
It's not a horror film.
No, I know.
People
like
think people look at the poster and they think of the name and also they think, oh, it's the horror movie.
It's not a tragedy, is it?
Kind of.
Yeah. Kind of.
So it's very slow moving in parts. Also about an hour and a half, like It Comes at Night. More slow moving than It Comes at Night, but also very weirdly I found out, and I swear I was like watching it and I was going, is that who I think it is? And Kesha makes an appearance. For like 2 seconds.
I like Kesha, it's fine.
For like 2 seconds. No, but I was like, why?
I know.
She doesn't do anything. She's just in the background.
Kesha used to be like a backup dancer and an extra.
Yeah, but she's not dancing.
I don't know, but she's like, I think she used to do like the extras in movies. I'm not sure. I know she was behind like Katy Perry's I Kissed a Girl music video.
Okay.
So it could be that she was just in roles.
This is like a recent film, though. Like last year.
I don't know.
But why? That's why I was going, like, sure, why is she doing this? I don't know why. But anyway, maybe she produced it. Maybe I should find out.
Surely not.
I don't know.
Surely not.
Anyway. Basic concept of this film is... I really liked it. People are very split on it, I think. Because there's not a lot of dialogue in it, and it's very much what you make of it, I think, most of the time.
Well, one of my friends... He's not really my friend. He didn't like Dunkirk because he's like, there wasn't enough dialogue. So I think some people just like...
I think Dunkirk's just a well-made movie. I don't think there's much more to it than that.
Oh, well, he didn't like it. He's like, I didn't like it. Not enough dialogue. I'm like,
That's
okay.
fine. That's fine.
Okay, and he's like, did I upset you? I'm like, no, because I don't care about your opinion.
Well, we'll get to not caring about opinions when we talk about Star Wars.
Yeah. That's a long talk.
Yeah, but Ghost Story is basically, it's Casey Affleck and Rooney Mara, and they're just a couple. They live together. You know, he's a musician. I can't remember what she does, or if she does anything.
She's a musician.
Let's say that.
Yeah.
A musical family. But she's doing whatever.
Yeah.
So they live in this house, and not really a lot is told to you about them. And then, apart from the fact that they're, you know, obviously very much together, like there's a long shot at the start of like them just lying in bed some hour in the night, asleep, pretty much. Stuff like that, and then like they hear a noise, and then they go out and have a look, and they're like, okay, weird. They go back, go to sleep. So, and then basically and it's really interestingly directed. Like, the whole aspect ratio of the film's 4:3, so it's just a square in the middle of the screen.
Oh, so it's not...
No, not
shit,
widescreen.
okay.
So it's just a square thing. It's still framed very well.
Yeah.
Everything's done really well. And so he's in a car accident outside their house, and he's killed in it, basically. And then it sort of cuts to the hospital, her identifying the corpse. She covers it over, and then she leaves, and the shot pretty much just stays the same for like a minute. And then he gets up, with the sheet on. He's walking around like you would see a ghost in like Halloween costume.
Yeah.
That's what he looks like, pretty much. And I don't know what it is about it, but it works. You would think that would look stupid, but to me it looks perfectly real, because he's not supposed to be scary.
Nah.
Like, he's not supposed to freak people out or anything.
No.
But nobody can see him. And then he travels all the way back home to sort of watch her. There is one scene that people complain about, and I kind of get why, because it goes on for far too long, probably. Yeah. Which is a woman drops a pie over to her while she's not home.
Yeah.
And, like, leaves a note, like, saying, if you need anything, just let us know, blah, blah, blah. And then when she gets home, she, like, looks at it, she picks it up, and then she just eats the whole pie on the floor. And there's just this one shot that goes for, like, several minutes of her just doing that. And then she goes and throws up.
Fair enough.
And he's watching her.
Yeah.
The whole time. And time sort of starts to speed up after a while. Like, there's a pretty interesting shot of him standing in the front room of the house near the door that sort of, like, pushes in on him. And then it's, like, in the same shot, it's, like, several days happening where she leaves the house.
Yeah.
Like, just slightly different ways and all that sort of stuff. And then eventually it's, like... And there's this whole thing of, like... Because the film's pretty much about time and legacy. Oh. Like, what you leave behind sort of thing. Which isn't much, most people. And so she tells him a story at the start of the film. I think it's the first lines of the film, where she's talking about when she was a little girl, she used to, like, write notes and leave them places wherever she went, so that if she came back, she'd know that there was something of hers still here or something like that. Eventually, like, he sees her kind of start going out with another man, and then she leaves, and she leaves the house. Yeah. And sells it to a Mexican family, I think. Oh, yeah. But before she leaves, she's, like, repainting it and everything. And then she writes some sort of note, and then she sticks it between, like, some wood stuff, and then she paints over it. Yeah. And then he's trying to, like, scratch it out so he can read it. Yeah. Then the Mexican family comes to stay, and he's basically, like, stuck with them. He's, like, walking around watching them, and then there's actually a ghost next door as well. And they talk, but they're...
It's like the idea of, like, Paranormal Activity, but without the scary part.
He does kind of do a bit of that, but it's... He like, walks to the window and talks to the ghost across the thing, and it's nothing's done, like, audibly, it's just subtitles come up. Yeah. And he's just like, oh, hi. And it's like, hello. And then he goes, what are you doing? And the other one goes, oh, I'm waiting for someone. And he goes, who? And he goes, I don't remember.
Oh, no, that breaks my heart. No. Oh.
So, yeah, they do all that, and then it sort of time speeds up more and more and more, and it's like, okay, suddenly there's a party going on in the... Yeah. It's almost like Mother, kind of, but not frightening. Yeah.
Like a PG Mother.
Yeah. And then it goes to the party, and it's probably like... You either love or hate this part, I think, but it's basically like the party's going on. This is where you see Kesha for like 2 seconds. She's like sitting with somebody doing something. And I was like, is that? I don't know. And then it just kept going. And it's basically like a guy at the table like talking about time and whatever like that at this party. I thought it was going to be kind of pretentious and annoying, but it's not to me, I don't think. It could be though, some people. But he's talking about all that sort of stuff, and then it's kind of explained to you, and then time keeps going to the point where the house gets knocked down.
Wow.
And then it gets dug up, and then there's a city on it, and then he's like on top of the tower, and then he falls off it.
Yeah.
And then when he falls, he lands, and then he wakes up, and it's like a field again, like way before he got there.
Oh, wow.
And then it's like a pioneer family back in like early settling time, like drawing up designs to like put a house.
Yeah.
And then the little girl of the family writes a note on something and puts it under a rock, like his girlfriend, wife, whatever, used to leave notes for herself around. And he was looking at that, and then it's like you hear noise, like a struggle, and then he looks up and the family's dead, like covered in arrows.
Oh, yeah.
And then he's like looking, and it cuts back to him, cuts back to the grass is growing, the corpse is decaying until you can't see it anymore.
Yeah.
And eventually it gets all the way back to when he moved in with her. And then he sees the relationship play out again before he died.
Yeah.
And that's really interesting as well, because you get to see more stuff that you got to see at the start.
Yeah.
Scenes that you didn't get to see at the start, you see.
Again.
Because at the start, they seemed more together. And then when you see it again, it's like, oh, they actually didn't always get along. It was like pretty difficult. And then you see the night where they woke up to like that sound. was him sitting down next to the piano and going like that as a ghost.
Yeah.
And then he gets up and like looks around like,
oh wow.
yeah.
Oh no, I love that. That's so good. That's
then,
what I wish Lucy was like. But no, they gave me some bullshit. But let's not talk about Lucy.
Yeah, and then I mean, spoilers. The film ends with him scratching out the note and finding it, and then opening it up, and then this ghost just goes like the sheet just.
Oh, so he's at
collapses,
peace.
and then it ends.
Wow, I love that.
That was good.
I'm gonna go watch that. Fuck,
I liked it.
yeah. Well, I don't know how I'm going to follow that up because I did not watch anything that good. I did watch. I watched the other night. I watched Coco.
Yep.
The Disney. I've been wanting to watch it since I saw the trailer. It looked so good.
You know what's funny? I don't think I've seen the trailer.
Kenji said the same thing. My
seen the
boyfriend said the same
posters.
thing. It's it reminded me of a movie that I actually haven't watched that I wanted to watch ages ago, which I might now go back and watch. Called I think Book of the Dead.
Oh, yep.
Which was I think when I first saw it, I was like, oh my God, the animation is so beautiful. Like, I'm a fucking sucker for animation, Mm-hmm. And I never got to watch it because it just either I never got a chance to see it in cinemas and I just never saw it appear again. So I just never got a chance to watch it. So when I saw Coco, I'm like, no, I'm going to go see this film. It is number one on my agenda. I know we said we wanted to go see Jumanji and Shape of Water and all that.
Some other stuff, yeah.
Really never got to it. I really actually wanted to see Jumanji, but I just never got to it. I also wanted to see Greatest Showman because a few of my friends actually enjoyed it and said it was really nice. And it was by the same people who did La La Land, so I was like...
Producers, yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, I would see it, but Coco was really number one on my list. So went and saw it, and it's pretty much... It's like a very stereotypical Disney film, kid, he's very musically inclined, but his family, his great-great-great-grandpa, apparently abandoned his great-great-great-grandma to go perform because he was a musician, and then when she had a baby... she started a shoe business and she got really famous, but then because of how she was hurt, she officially banned music from the family. But then this kid is so his great grandma was is this for us? Anyway, so then do you know the Day of the Dead for I think I don't know.
Mexican tradition.
Yeah, the Mexican. So it's the day you put up all your fam. Oh, what was I up to? No. Yeah, so his great-great-grandma, Mama Coco, was the daughter of the OG family. So, the dad and the mum. And then she's really old. She's almost right on the border of passing away the next few months, let's say. And she's forgetting and she doesn't really talk. She's not very active. And then his grandma is very strict. She's no music, and then it's his mom and his dad, and or maybe that's his great. Either way, I can't remember how many greats there is. It's just grandma and all that. So what happens is he's obviously I want to learn how to play, and then there's this really famous musician called Anesta, I think, something like that.
Okay.
And he's oh my God, you're my hero, you're my inspiration. Because of you, I want to be an artist like you. I want to be a performer like you. So he obviously has his own makeshift guitar and blah, blah, blah. And then on the Day of the Dead, he there's a performance, there's a talent show in the main plaza area. And, he wants to go perform. And then obviously his grandma and his parents are no, you can't. And so he gets angry. And there's the way the tradition works is that you put up your family members' photos and they can cross over from the land of the dead to the living to come visit you for the day.
Yeah.
And on the thing, they have all the photos, and the main photo with the mom and the original mom and dad and all that. I think the mom's name is Esmeralda. I think it's something. It starts with E. Because they say everything with accents, so I'm not always 100% sure. No, that sounds really wrong, but it's true.
Yeah.
Anyway, so her photo's there with Coco, and then the picture of the dad's been ripped away. So you don't really know. But then, so he gets upset. He knocks over the photo and steals the photo. And because they said if you don't put your picture up, then they can't cross over. So he goes in and he tries to steal Anesta's guitar because there's like a shrine of him. And he realizes that guitar is the same guitar that's in the family photo that he has. And he thinks, oh my God, that's my great-great-grandfather. So he steals the guitar, and then for some reason some weird voodoo magic happens, and he's transported into the world of like the spirit world, like the world of the dead. And he's like, what the fuck? Goes over and he's like, what's going on? Family sees him. They're like, what the hell are you doing here? You're not dead. And then he's like, I don't know. And then they speak to, it's kind of funny. It's like a play, not a play. It's like a kind of humor thing where they have like you know how we have like industry that like, let's say deals with, you know, immigration or whatever. They have like industry that deals with like human souls or something. Go over and the guy's like, you've cursed yourself because you stole from someone's like a dead person's shrine on the Day of the Dead. So he's like, well, how do I go back? Because apparently if he doesn't leave by sunrise, he'll permanently be deceased. So they say, you just need a blessing from your family. So obviously, like, Mama Emeralda, like, takes up, and he's like, I bless you this to go home, only if you never play music or have anything to do with music ever again. So he's like, I think, I forgot to say the main guy's name is Mikhail. Mikhail's like, oh, I don't know, no, I don't want to do it, and then...
Mikhail or Miguel?
Miguel. Is it Miguel?
It would be.
I have no idea.
It would.
It was Miguel, sorry. He's like, oh, fine. Blows a blessing, goes back, decides, you know what, I'm not going to listen, tries to steal the guitar again, and ends up back at the same place, and obviously everyone's cross at him. And then he's thinking, you know what, I can't do this, I have to be able to play music in my life. So then he thinks, well, Anesta is my great-grandpa, why don't I just ask him, because he's family. So then it's like this huge journey he goes on to find Anesta, but obviously he's like a celebrity, you know, he's a celebrity apparently in the spirit world too. And on the way he meets this guy called Hector. And Hector keeps like trying to get over to the other side, never can. And someone's like, no one's put up your photo. And so apparently in the spirit world, there's this thing called the second death, which is when you've been officially forgotten by everyone in the living world, then your spirit can no longer survive. And so he's like, I'm trying to get my photo put up so I can go over to visit someone before they've forgotten me, so I can just see them one last time. And then Hector's like, I know Anesta, I can get you there only if you put up my photo. Yeah, okay. And then it turns out Hector's like a huge artist as well, and you're like, okay. You can already tell where this story's going. Hector is Miguel's dad. I already could tell, but like they go on this huge journey. They're like, and there's like a lot of music and dancing, and it's all fun and cute. You know, then like obviously Miguel meets Anesta, and Anesta's like, oh my God, I have a grandson, and blah blah blah. And then it turns out Anesta and Hector were partners, and then one day Hector was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to go home. I miss my family. I miss my wife. I want to go home. And Nesta's like, you can't. I need... Because Hector was the writer for the music, and then Nesta was the performer. So Nesta's like, I need your music. So then he pretty much poisons and kills Hector. And then Hector never knows until Miguel kind of... Because Miguel goes, well, what did... Like, there's something apparently, like, Anesta said to Hector, and then Miguel's like, oh, that's in one of the movies, and then so-and-so gets poisoned, and then, you know, it's like put two and two together. Yeah. So then, obviously, what happens? Anesta gets him thrown in prison or whatever. So that all happens, and it's all really sad, and then Miguel finds out Hector's actually his great-great-grandpa, because he starts saying, oh, my God, I just want to visit my daughter, Coco, she's back on the other side, and then Miguel's like, you mean my great-great-grandma, Coco? And then he's like, what? And they're like, what? And then you're like, oh my God, what? And I'm like, called it. Disney, what do you want? Like, it's so fucking predictable.
It's like people who didn't predict that guy in Frozen was an asshole.
Yeah, no one knew that. It was weird. It was weird.
He's an asshole.
I know, right?
Not be an asshole.
I know, right?
If he's not an asshole, then this film's going to have no drama in it at all.
Well, I was going to say there's no way in hell because, like, it just makes no sense. Yeah. It's just a bit too Disney for it to be legit.
No, I was sitting there going, where's the drama going to come from here exactly? If nobody's a dickhead. Like, it's going to be this dull movie.
he gets saved by, there's like spirit animals as well. There's a lot of little things that I don't think really matter, but the spirit animals, they get rescued by their great-great-grandma and the rest of the fam bam.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, there's this one song they sing, and it's called Remember Me.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently Hector wrote it for Coco.
Mm-hmm.
And there's this, like, flashback scene. Oh, this scene, like, hurt me in the best way possible.
Mm-hmm.
Where he was just singing to his daughter, like, this flashback sepia-toned scene. He's playing the guitar, singing it, and it's, like... And it's so lovely. It's like, no, this is actually really sweet. And it hurt me a little because he was like, I just want to go back and see my daughter for the last time because she's forgetting me.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no one else there who remembers me because obviously I never met the rest of the family.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so then that happened. What happened then? I'm just trying to... Oh, yeah, so when Anessa threw Hector and Miguel in prison, he took Hector's photo, the one that they needed to put up.
Mm-hmm.
And so they were like, well, we can send... Because now the family's together, we can send Miguel back, but we need Hector's photo.
Mm.
So they go on this huge, like, thing to get the photo and blah, blah, blah. And then, like, long story short, Ernesto, like, shoots himself in the foot by saying... You know when the villain, like, tells them what they did, and then it's like, oh, here's a camera,
mm-hmm.
and blah, blah, blah. And then this kind of the end scene is just like... Miguel, they lost the photo, like they can't get it back now, and then Hector's like pretty much about to have his second death.
Mm-hmm.
And so Miguel gets sent back. He goes to his great-great-grandma Coco and he sings to her the song that
she
remembers, and then like it's like it goes forward to a year later and Hector's alive and everyone's happy, him and like Imelda or something. Esmeralda or Imelda, I don't know. They're all gotten back together and it's all happy. And look, it's not necessarily a really spectacular film. It has some... Good. Yeah, it was good. Like, I was like, it's a B+ in my eyes. That scene with him singing to his daughter, I was actually like, oh my God, break my heart a little. Just a little. But yeah, that was the big one I saw. I don't think I've watched any... I watched Lego Batman, and then I got Kenji to finally watch Guardians. I've already seen Guardians of the Galaxy, as you know, but...
Too, yeah.
But Kenji finally saw it, and I watched it again, and I still enjoyed it heaps. What else? I've been watching a lot of TV shows. Like, I watched...
End of the Fucking World.
End of the Fucking World, which...
I think sucks.
It started off really good.
The first 3 episodes
are good. Thank you.
And then as soon as they kill the guy and it's done, I'm like, okay.
And then it got weird.
Then it just meandered on after that. I was like, what's the fucking point of this show?
Yeah, right. Okay, thank you.
Like, where is this going? And then they get to the father's house and I was like, okay, why do I care?
Thank you. Literally my thought on everything. And then everyone's like, no, it's so good. I'm like, no. Like, after this, it makes no sense. So I was
also kind of disappointed in Black Mirror, which I think we've talked about before, but you like Crocodile. I think it's alright, but not great. I liked USS Callister.
I didn't mind that either.
USS Callister's good. I think the Black Museum's good. Mm-hmm. And the one about dating, I thought was pretty good. You know, where it's like you get a predetermined like relationship and how long it's supposed to last. I like that one.
I know.
Look, Archangel is the second weakest one, and the weakest one is Metalhead.
Yeah.
Metalhead kind of sucks.
I don't know why I made that one.
I kind of like they wanted to make like a thriller piece, but like it
was not very good. Sorry.
No, because like now Black Mirror you can kind of compare to like films, like proper films.
Yeah,
and it's not a very good, like, post-apocalyptic, like, thriller film. It didn't really do much for me at all. I was like, okay, is this over yet?
I was watching it and I kept waiting for something to happen and it just never happened. Like, she just kept running and I was like, this is lame. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I worked my fucking ass off through the holidays. Mm-hmm. I work in retail, which means I hate myself. Mm-hmm.
It's funny because I've bought Blade Runner 2049 and I haven't had the time to sit down and watch it again because it's nearly 3 hours long. Yeah,
right. Oh, actually, I did go back and watch The original not the original, like the first 3 episodes, as in like the OG, the one with Luke Skywalker original. I went and watched that again.
Episode 1, 2, and 3.
No,
Phantom Menace.
Yeah, no, I did not watch those. I watched the other ones.
So the actual OG
Yeah,
ones.
the actual OG ones.
You mean this is Luke Skywalker?
No.
No.
That's what I said.
I thought you said not Luke Skywalker.
No, the Luke Skywalker one with Leia and all
the
that.
proper original trilogy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That took way too long for us to come to a
So
conclusion.
you
now.
rewatched them?
I rewatched them after I watched The Last Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
And then I watched what's A New Hope and Not a New Hope? The Force Awakens.
Force Awakens, yeah.
Yeah, I watched Force Awakens again. I love Rey. I want to marry her. I do. She's like, how can she just be so cool, man?
That's a lot of things that fans are asking. Like, why does she just know how to do things? Which, you know, fair question, but I don't care.
Meh, who cares? She's amazing.
Luke gets in a starfighter in the first one and just blows up the Death Star.
Yeah, I know.
He's got no fucking experience in an X-Wing.
Watched Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
How much of it?
Well, anything that's available on Netflix, I watch.
Okay. I think I watched 3 seasons of that. I haven't got past that yet.
It's pretty good. It gets a little bit like...
Stale?
No, kind of like political.
Oh, okay. And then it kind of loses a bit and you're like, okay.
Like, I still enjoy it. It's still really funny.
Yeah.
But then it gets like too complicated to a point. Like now it's not... it used to just be like funny kind of comedy.
Just fun, yeah.
But like Friends, when it just got too complicated and you're just like... Wait, who's dating who and why, who what, who's pregnant, who has kids and who's been married 4 times
And you're
already.
like, oh, who gives a shit, it's a sitcom. Next week it'll be different, it'll be fine. So anyway, yeah, we went and saw Star Wars: The Last Jedi. Most hated and loved movie of the year.
It really was. I don't know why, but it was.
It's a Star Wars film, people get passionate for some stupid reason.
Hey, where's the money tin?
I've done away with it.
No! No, I liked it. I like to make fun of it every time I see it.
My Rogue One.
Rogue One is on Netflix, and Kenji was like, should we go watch that? And I'm like, no.
You should. Just to see what you think.
I'm probably
It's funny, because, like, I think it only fails in one area, and that's the characters. Like, from a production aspect, it's great. But it's not particularly well written, and the characters are boring, and I don't give a shit about them. And that's the problem. Because in Star Wars, you're supposed to care about the characters. That's kind of the point. And I just didn't give a shit. They seemed expendable, and guess what? They are. They all die. So...
Well, because it's a prequel. You know what happens.
Yeah, because it's before... It's literally like... the film ends like 10 minutes before A New Hope starts. With Leia escaping on a Corellian Corvette. With the plans to the Death Star, and that's when A New Hope starts, when Vader comes into it. She launches R2-D2 and C-3PO with the plans. And Luke finds them. Yeah. I mean, I think... Who was it who said... I think it was Red Letter Media. Mike Stoklasa said it's the most expensive fan film he's ever seen, Rogue One. And it's kind of true. Because it's got all the cool shit you like in Star Wars. But it just doesn't feel like Star Wars at all. Whereas people saying Last Jedi doesn't feel like Star Wars, and I was like, it definitely feels like Star Wars.
Oh, Last Jedi is Star Wars, sorry. Yeah. I was saying, well, the first thing I said to you after I saw it was, it seems like a Star Wars film that has a wider audience range. Because I feel like, look...
I don't know. I mean, like, at this point, like, The Last Jedi is in the middle of a new trilogy, and the new trilogy is only relevant if is only really good if you've seen the original.
I don't think that's the case.
But I mean, like, most of the, like, meaning behind lots of it is kind of lost if you don't know who Luke is or Han is. Like, Han's just kind of a weird old man if you just watch The Force Awakens who's smuggling things, and he used to be cool once. That's what you know about him.
Used to be cool.
Well, pretty much, and then he gets stabbed by his own son on a bridge and dies, and you're like, okay. And this Luke's a recluse off on an island, and then he kind of doesn't teach Rey, and kind of does.
Yeah, see, that really confuses me, that weird...
You know he fucked things up, and then he dies at the end through a heroic sort of bit of trickery to get the rebels off the base. That's that's all you know if you haven't seen if you see the original trilogy, you know that Han was like a reluctant hero who was like kind of self-centered, but then ended up being good.
I don't know, but I felt like just the way it was set out, it was a bit more like people could probably swallow it a lot easier.
I feel like it's pretty much the same.
No.
I don't think Star Wars has always been pretty appealing to a big audience. Like back in the 70s, it pretty much made sci-fi acceptable. Because sci-fi kind of, I mean, there are exceptions, but like sci-fi before Star Wars in film was kind of like sneered at. People were like, ugh.
Oh,
That's
really?
like low budget bullshit you're making. What the fuck are you doing?
Like
It was treated like trash. Because like lots of it was shit. Star Wars was like the first really. I mean, Star Trek came before then. That was TV. Now into movies. And Star Trek, as far as its production aspect back then, is terrible. But that's not the important part of Star Trek. Also, I hate it when people compare the two because they're not at all the same. Star Trek is science fiction, and Star Wars is science fantasy.
Don't like Star Trek, so
I haven't really seen much of Star Trek. I've seen a bit of it.
I saw the new reboot thing of it.
The J.J. Abrams one that he also directed Force Awakens.
Oh, shit. What was anus? Sorry.
Everybody said that Beyond was good, which wasn't made by him. But it was written by Simon Pegg. Partly, at least. But I haven't seen it. And I don't care that much.
Yeah, I was like, I haven't seen it, Ren, and I personally don't give a damn.
It's funny. I've always liked the idea of Star Trek. I just can't be bothered. There's too much.
It's a lot, you know.
There's too much to watch and too many things.
You already watched Star Trek. You watched the first episode of season 4 of Black Mirror. That is Star Trek.
Kind of. Not really.
Anyway, so
Star Wars.
What happens in Star Wars? Rey goes and finds Luke Skywalker.
A combination of things that happen in The Empire Strikes Back and The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
And everybody hates it because it's both too different and too much the same at the same time. So we don't know anything about Snoke, exactly like the Emperor in the original films. And that's bad, apparently.
Why do we need
I
to
mean,
know?
it's fine if that's your problem. I don't mind. You can have that problem, but I don't give a shit who he is. I didn't care who he was in The Force Awakens either. People were speculating for ages who he was. Because there's a whole story in like the prequels about Darth Plagueis, who was the Emperor's master, who apparently the Emperor murdered and took all of his power. He's apparently incredibly powerful, could bring people to life, create life, all that sort of stuff, and then he was apparently murdered in his sleep, which is hilarious to me.
Yeah.
You can tell
So powerful.
You can tell that was written by the prequel for the prequels.
So powerful.
But there's that they were thinking it was him. I think it was several other people. They were thinking it was like Vader because he wasn't dead. And I was like, if it's Vader, I'm done with these fucking movies.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, if you put Vader back here, I'm literally going to shit on something and then never come back.
So I thought that'd be so stupid. I couldn't. So,
You literally could not.
I would just go, no, I'm not watching any of these ever again.
I personally didn't even like think twice about Snoke until he appeared, and I was like, "Who the fuck is this guy?"
and then you rewatched The Force Awakens and went, "Oh, it's that guy."
And then he's like,
It's
"It's leader Snoke," and I'm like, "I thought Kylo Ren was like the leader," and then
no, he's the Vader of the First Order.
Well, yeah, I know.
He even looks like it.
But I was like, maybe it's like a thing where he's surpassed, and now he's like, you know, and then it's like, I'm leader Snoke, and I'm like, oh, fuck Snoke. So I went back and watched Force Awakens, and I'm like, oh right. Right, they mentioned your name like 3 times, I think, and then I'm supposed to give a shit.
You're on screen in like 2 scenes.
You're just so powerful, you got taken out by a lightsaber.
Yeah.
Just...
Well, it's like, you look at the Emperor, right? He's betrayed by Vader picking him up and throwing him down a fucking hole.
That's the thing that confused me, where I was like, how are you so powerful
that so stupid?
You could just die? Like, isn't the whole point that you're so powerful that no one can possibly defeat you? That's why they have no way... Like... I assume for villains, they act on fear, so they fear you, and that's how you control them. Who's gonna fear you if someone just picks you up like a fucking baby and chucks you off the side of the bridge? No one, okay?
They do.
My cat wouldn't even fear you.
They do if you don't expect it. But the whole thing about like the Force is, it's like it can pretty much do whatever the fuck you want. If you're writing these movies.
Wait, no, I like what Ray says. Like, what do you think the Force is? You can lift things.
You can can make people do what you want and lift things. I think that's generally what she says. That was one of the jokes that worked in the movie, I thought. There was, people complained about the humour, and sure, some of it was terrible. Yeah. And some of it was alright.
Dude, I love porgs. They're so cute, sorry. They're porgs like fucking adorable.
Porgs, the other thing is like, people hate porgs and then they love the Ewoks for some reason.
What's the difference?
Well, the difference is actually the porgs are less offensive.
Ah.
Because they do less in the plot. They're just kind of there, where the Ewoks play a huge role in the end of Return of the Jedi to defeat the Empire, because the Empire get defeated by a bunch of fucking teddy bears. On a moon.
Wow.
But yeah,
also,
not that I really care about that either. I think that's fine.
Yeah.
It was fun.
So this we've been talking way too long just about nonsense, I feel.
That's right.
So pretty much there's 3 storylines in Last Jedi. There's Rey and Luke Skywalker.
Rey and Luke, Finn and Rose,
Poe and
Leia, and I'd say Kylo and Rey as well.
Oh yeah,
it's
Kylo
almost
and Rey.
a separate story. Almost a separate story. It's kind of with Luke as well.
Yeah. My favorite was definitely Kylo and Rey, actually. Kylo Ren.
Mine was all of mine was all the Jedi stuff, pretty much.
Firstly, Kylo Ren. He's a snack. You've heard me say this. He's a snack. But also, like, I mean, Daisy Ridley is also a fucking snack. But just his character is... It's so good. I'm sorry, like, I watched the film and I'm like, I just want a film with him, Rey, and, like, maybe 2 other characters. And I just want to see what happens. Just put them... Yeah. I wish if they were real people in a real-life fantasy, Star Wars, space film, happy time, I don't know, we could just put them in a room and I want to see what the fuck happens. But the thing is, from that... I've seen a lot of, like, people go like, oh my god, they're going to get together. And I'm like, I'm going to stop you right there. Because that's not what
this is about.
This is not what Star Wars is about at all. No. At all, man. And it pisses me off. Because, like, I just love the dynamic of the light and the dark. Because Kylo's obviously dark, Rey's obviously light.
Well, Kylo's in between. He goes back and forward.
But, like, like, in a whole, he's
got more dimensions than Vader did in the first film.
Yeah, well, Vader was just evil.
Vader was just like a monster in the first film.
But, like, I just like the 2 when they're together and the type of chemistry, not necessarily romantic chemistry, but just like...
No, it's the way they act off each other.
Yeah, like, it's so good. I was like, every time I see them, I'm just like, when that feeling you get when you're, like, on the edge of your seat and you're just like, what's gonna fucking happen? Every time they went on, I was like...
Because he's the actual, I think, very valid criticism of the film. Is every time it cut from them to Finn and Rose, it was like, oh, fuck.
Finn and Rose was the weakest part.
Can we please cut back?
Yeah, can we please? Like, I'm all up for Asian actors, because obviously, represent. But no, fuck, man, that was weak as shit.
I can't...
Why?
It's funny, because here's a thing that I heard the other day. Star Wars, once again, has not done very well in China. Last Jedi.
Rose, I don't think is Chinese. But...
No, but I'm not talking about her in particular, right? So, kind of, let's say that the Chinese have let's say not a really high opinion of women or black people sometimes. And
I was going to say there's not
film
enough...
stars
I was going to say there's not enough, like, hot white guys.
Yeah.
To attract... Because, like, Avengers and stuff is huge there. Because there's a bunch of white guys fighting.
Transformers is big as well.
Yeah.
Because it's Mark Wahlberg, I guess.
He's big, I think.
But, yeah. And I was like, maybe that's one of the reasons. Somebody was basically saying that.
Chinese people, their idea of film, good film, is different than what we consider.
Oh, no, of course. I know that, but...
My parents, like, they wanted to go see a film... And all they wanted, literally... Like, my dad went to see Avatar, and he fucking loved it. And it's because it was explosions, it was really good CGI. Oh, yeah. And it's, like, the idea of, like, the more money that's probably gone into this, the better it is. There's no real, like, how good the story was, the writing. It's all about the visuals.
There's nothing wrong with the visuals in The Last Jedi, is what I'm saying. Like, here's the thing, like, the film is really well shot, all that sort of stuff. I really like the way it was done. Now, people have complained that the film has an agenda, and I can see that. Mostly with the Rose and Finn plotline, not with them being in it, but the actual plotline of them going to a casino planet, complaining about how everybody's rich here because they profit off war, and then they save the animals.
Oh, shit. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I thought that was really dumb because it didn't have... I don't know what they were trying to prove with that. I even to the point where I felt like Rian Johnson put it in because he was asked to.
I felt like there was like Star Wars.
And there was that bit.
And then there was that. It's like, it was like, here's all this Star Wars stuff. It's really good. And then there's like this little bit like of a thing.
There's something else going on.
There's something hanging off the side.
Don't worry about that shit.
And you're just like, is that a mark? Can I get it off? No, it's stuck there. Is that a stain? Oh, it's a stain. Oh my God. Like, that's how I felt about that. But I love the idea behind it. You know, like, you know, having another person in the trilogy.
It seemed like they were really trying to create like the cantina in the first original film again. You know, the cantina on Tatooine. The band. Yeah, exactly. That's what everybody does. Everybody... It's like they were trying to create that, but like a glamorous casino version, and it just looked terrible.
Well, none of it made sense because they never found the grand, whatever.
No, they found one code breaker, didn't they? And then they found
Benicio
Benicio del Toro because they found the other code breakers at the casino with the red thing and the white.
But they never
thing.
got to him.
They never even get to like talk to him. Then they go in, and they just happen to be with Benicio del Toro.
It literally makes no sense. It's like, what's the point of this?
Yeah, then why? How do you get two master code breakers in this place, but one gets caught and then breaks them out and then steals a ship
and then betrays you?
There were bits of it that I didn't mind. It was like when it got close to the end, they became less annoying to me because they weren't on the casino place anymore.
I didn't mind when they actually met up with like the rest of the Resistance, and they were in, I think it was Crate. Yeah. I didn't mind that.
I hated what Rose did.
When he knocked...
Yes.
Yeah, me too. I was like, fucking let him die.
Fucking dumb.
Let him die.
That whole scene would have been way more meaningful and memorable if Finn died.
Can't have that, though, because everyone loves Finn too much.
That's true. No,
why do you think, like...
People would also complain it's like the one character you killed was the black guy.
That is also true. Fuck.
It's like, yeah, but we killed Luke as well. It's like, yeah, but they both died a hero's death then.
Yeah. I know, but
one thing that I think is kind of, and I don't really care, but they did say that the other agenda is that there are no male leaders in the resistance anymore.
Poe Dameron.
No, he's not a leader. He literally gets demoted, and then he causes a mutiny on the ship. Also, because Laura Dern doesn't handle it very well.
Can I just say, my favourite scene is when the door opens, it's Princess Leia, like, awakened from a coma, and then she just shoots him. She's like, and he, like, knocks out. I laughed so hard. I almost pissed myself.
I think it's a fair criticism as well. It doesn't ruin the film for me at all, that whole plot line doesn't make any sense. Because Laura Dern doesn't tell them her plan, and it causes a mutiny on the ship.
Yeah, I don't know why she doesn't.
Exactly. There's no reason
maybe
for
she didn't. She felt like she didn't want to say anything so that they wouldn't have a mutiny, and then there's a mutiny anyways.
No, because it feels... Because that seems more, I suppose. Maybe she knows the sort of person that he is. He'd start a mutiny anyway, knowing the information.
Maybe she just didn't want people to
Once he finds out the information, he causes the mutiny.
So he finds out regardless.
And there's a mutiny.
No, but I did like the scenes where she, like, jumped, and she
sacrificed herself, killed herself.
That was
very well done. I like that.
So one of our friends, I'm sorry, I've been eating this whole time. One of our friends actually works in the cinema, and apparently they've gotten multiple complaints about that scene. Where, you know how there's no sound?
Yeah. They think it's cut out.
They think it's broken?
No, that's just space.
And I'm like, when I saw it, I was like, there is no doubt in my mind that was put in for
that was
effect.
on purpose.
Yeah. But apparently people were like, where's the fucking sound? Oh my God. And I'm like,
where's the boom?
Yeah. Where's the boom?
I want to hear it explode. No.
Like, I was actually like, are you fucking stupid? What the fuck, dude?
Drama.
Yeah. I also like...
I felt like the film got better as it went on. The last hour or so was really good.
Yeah. I like the scenes at the beginning with Luke and
Ray.
Yeah. But then as it came to an end, the movie kind of came together a bit more.
Yeah.
It was like when they started, they were like, we know what we want to do with Luke and Ray. And here's everyone else. Yeah. That's how I felt.
Exactly.
I don't understand that Leia scene where she like kind of flew through the air. It was a bit weird.
Yeah.
I'm accepting it.
Once again, I don't care.
I'm accepting it.
My whole thing is I don't think it was well done. I don't care about the idea of it, that she survives. I don't really mind that. I just don't think it was particularly well done visually.
Yeah.
It just looked a bit weird. Yeah.
Was a bit weird. Anyways, final thoughts, feelings.
I thought it was good.
I thought it was good.
On the whole, I thought it was good.
It ended on a good note, which was better than it ending on a shitty note.
Yeah.
Because I think you remember the end. Yeah, Adam Driver's a snack. Poe Dameron is a snack. Daisy Ridley, they're all snacks. They're all Christmas and like, day-to-day snacks. No, but like, I just enjoy watching them.
Just do a special mention to Domhnall Gleeson who plays.
Oh, Armitage.
He's cool.
I love him too. Not like
I enjoyed his hammy performance as General Hux.
No, I like the scene you were telling me when he
goes for his pistol,
and then he wakes up. He's like, "Oh fuck,"
and he's like,
"No,
nope." I do like that. I like his characterization. It's very much what you would expect of that sort of person.
It's perfect.
It's like a snivelling little shit who's just drunk on his own power all the time. Well, I did like the bit where they blow the shit out of Luke's, ghost, whatever it is, and then he just turns around to Kylo and goes, "I think you got him."
Oh no! My favorite scene is where they're like, he's like, all cannons on the whatever, and then turns around, Hux yells like the exact same thing, and then
he looks at him.
Not once, but he's just like, "Why are you like this?" I saw this meme. It was literally,
"I'm in charge, asshole."
There's literally this meme where that scene is, and at the bottom, the caption was literally like, "Why are you like this? Why? I'm in charge."
That's like my favourite meme that did come out of Rogue One was Ben Mendelsohn's character pretty much does the whole Death Star project from scratch, and he does all the work, and then Tarkin, who was played by in the original trilogy by Peter Cushing, who is played by a CGI monstrosity version of himself in Rogue One, takes all the credit for it, and then people made a meme of Krennic coming to Tarkin and going, "I built this," and then Tarkin picking it up and going, "I built this," and then just walking away with
it. Oh my god, that's so funny. Anyway, I think we've had enough to say.
We've talked about Star Wars enough.
Yeah, I mean, we liked it. There were some holes here and there.
It's Star Wars. There's gonna be holes.
It's fine. Star Wars. It's
they
fantasy.
They didn't ruin Luke. They didn't.
Yeah, he died with honor.
They made him more interesting, if anything. They didn't make him a unkillable god like he is in the extended universe novels.
I don't know what that is, but
Luke becomes like the ultimate Jedi, and he's like really awesome and stuff.
Wow.
But
that's
that
boring.
would be the most dull movie ever.
Yeah.
He'd just be Obi-Wan pretty much again, and then he'd die.
I love Obi-Wan.
Yeah, I know. I have no. I would rather them make an Obi-Wan movie than a Han Solo movie.
Solo, a Star Wars story. Let's not talk about the possible.
People are making
copyright.
jokes because there's only one. There's only one piece of promotional material available for
It looks like Solo.
And it's Solo, the Star Wars story. And then people have been joking about it, saying it's the Solo piece of marketing we get.
Oh my
for the whole thing.
It's just, it's not. It's
going to be shit.
Yeah, of course it's going to be shit.
They haven't shown us any of it. They're ashamed of it.
Maybe they're like, I don't know if this is ready yet. Maybe we should just edit it a few
Put it back in the oven.
Yeah. It's not risen enough.
It's shit. We need to do it again.
We don't have enough time to go from scratch. We'll just have to make do.
We said we'd release
Maybe if we put
Star
some
Wars
icing
film.
on it.
We said we'd make another Star Wars film this year.
It literally terrifies me. Oh, they're also making a Black Widow movie.
Are they?
That terrifies me. Yeah.
Why?
Because they're making a Captain Marvel movie and they have to compete. I think it's stupid. I know you think it's stupid. I forgot I bought a juice box.
Once Infinity War's done, I'm done with Marvel.
Yeah, I
I'm
know.
not going to watch anything after that.
Do you know what's really funny? So same person that I talked about who worked in the movie, the cinema area,
Mm-hmm.
he hung out with my boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
And he said to Kenji, he's like, oh, I'm really excited for Black Panther. And Kenji literally laughed in his face. Like, full on was like, "Pah! Oh, sorry, you were serious." He was like, I thought you were kidding. And the guy's like, no, I'm going to be into it. And Kenji, I feel so bad. I feel like I've just rubbed off on my poor boyfriend who used to enjoy films and now can't because of me and you. And he's just like, it's all filler shit until Infinity Wars comes out. And I'm like, simultaneously, I was like, I'm terrified, but also very impressed that this is how far you've come from. I really like this film. So,
Guess what's going to happen in that movie? He's going to be Black Panther, and then he's going to work out that there's a bad guy, and the bad guy wants to take his seat of power because he's the king.
I think it's going to be something about vibranium, because there's this huge thing about vibranium.
That's just the MacGuffin that is in every film of these Marvel films. It's an Infinity Gem. It's a box. It's whatever. It's some
it's vibranium.
It's something that they have. And he's like, I'm going to take the seat of power so I have the control over the thing.
Yeah.
Because you did something, blah, blah, and then at the end they'll punch each other and then one of them will die. Well, no, they won't die because it's Marvel. They're not allowed to die. You can only be heavily concussed or disappear into another realm or something.
Sorry. All I can think about is Rhodey falling from, literally 2,000 feet in the sky. Oh,
getting disabled for 5 minutes and then he's fine later
because
cool. Iron Man can just fix everything.
Yeah, I know. Iron Man's no offense, even if you're a genius, you're not that much of a genius. Sure, there's got to be a limit, man.
I'm fine, but why don't they just kill Ray?
Yeah. No, it's because I'm thinking, there's stories of people getting hit by cars and motorbikes and stuff, and they're disabled, and they're disabled for life. Mm. He falls from up in the sky with a metal suit. Yeah, then literally the next scene is him walking in rehab, and I'm like, that's not how that works, honey.
Iron Man put a thing on him, so that's fine.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Oh, I didn't know.
It's all fine. Iron Man did a thing.
He fixed it with his money.
He fixed it with his money, just like Batman does. Batman and Iron Man fix things with their money. Anyways, they throw money at a thing and they go, "I built it."
It's like, I built this.
It's fixed now.
I still can't get that. I built this. I built this.
I built this. And he just walks away.
Okay, well, three billboards.
It's very good.
So good. Exceptionally good. Mm-hmm. I have only good things to say about it. I feel like we should have it an excerpt. Is that what?
Except.
Where it's my favorite scene. Where she just drives by. It's like, it's not fucking over. It's no way fucking over, you dicks. Or whatever, something. It's like, put that in your fucking use.
Bitch.
What's her name?
Frances McDormand.
She is... I want to give her the biggest hug in the world.
She's a good actress.
She's amazing in that film.
She's good in a lot of things.
So the film pretty much starts off with, this mother who's lost her daughter due to a really violent...
Rape and murder.
And she feels like the police haven't done anything.
Yeah, they found the body, didn't they?
They find the body, but she's been burnt to a crisp. Yeah. Set on fire. Yeah. So, she puts up these 3 billboards that are right behind each other.
Yeah, and on a road that barely anybody goes to.
Yeah, and it's still no arrests,
blaming the chief of police.
Raped while dead already, or
something like that.
Why no arrests? And then obviously media catch with the police get really upset with it.
It's on a small town scale. It's not national news. It's just in that area.
Yeah.
So that's the problem in that area. So yeah, plenty of colourful characters.
She's very, very not aggressive, but just very independent.
She's very jaded.
Yeah.
And bitter as well.
Also one of my favorite. It's not PG. A lot of swearing, a lot of I wouldn't say violent. Oh, there is a bit of violence.
There's a bit, but it's not. I wouldn't say it's traumatizing.
I think it's just very adult humor.
It's actually kind of funny, some of the violence in it.
It's very... Or when she drills the hole through the dentist.
Yeah, that was funny.
It's very adult humor, I think. It's you have to if you're in,
It's not even
if
just
you're
that. It's just it's not treating you like a moron.
no,
It's not like, it's not a Kevin Hart movie, for God's sake. It's funny because it's just, that's just how it is. It's just amusing because of the situation they get themselves into.
yeah,
Doesn't feel like it's forced.
it's all very like, it's like a dysfunctional kind of, but this is how life is, I guess.
Yeah.
Type of film.
And the reason why it's kind of like that is because there's no real conclusion to the film.
No, I like that.
There's a conclusion to the characters, which is what concludes the film.
There's a bit of...
But the actual plot itself, in terms of if you want to break it down as in what happens in the plot, there's no real satisfying conclusion to the plot, but that doesn't matter.
I want to play a clip because it's just that funny.
But yeah,
one of my favorite scenes was literally like a flashback where it's like her and the daughter and the son.
Mm-hmm.
And she's saying something, there will be no more cunts in this house. And then he's like, why are you moving out?
yeah.
And it's like one of the best. I started laughing so hard. I honestly didn't know what to expect because I've heard a lot of good things. I was like, is it good because it's like serious?
You haven't seen the director's other two films, have you?
No, you were talking to me about it in Bruges.
Seven Psychopaths is good. In Bruges is fantastic.
Is it in Bruges or in Bruges? I said in Bruges.
In Bruges. In Bruges I saw just kind of because I thought, it looks alright, and then I thought it was absolutely hilarious. It's more of a comedy than Three Billboards. It's got a drama aspect to it, and the plot does have more of a conclusion. I think I like it more, but I think it's just me. I think Three Billboards is probably a better film.
Yeah.
In general, but I think I like In Bruges more because I think it's way funnier, Even though, because I don't get the feeling that Three Billboards is just supposed to be funny.
Yeah.
There's more to it than just being funny. Whereas in Bruges is mainly comic in a very specific way, but it's funny.
I like this type of comedy though. You don't really see it these days because I think
it's very bleak actually. In Bruges is a pretty bleak movie if you break it down, because it's about, the whole concept is like Colin Farrell, when he was asked, obviously he's an assassin of some kind with Brendan Gleeson. He's asked to kill a priest for some, I can't remember what reason. I'm assuming it's for pedophilia reasons, but I don't know whether that's necessarily true. He shoots the priest several times, and then as the priest is coming out of the confession booth, he shoots him again in the back, and the priest falls down and is like looking at something, and then he dies. And then Colin Farrell looks over, and through the priest he shot a kid who was praying, who died. And it's pretty brutal. You actually see the bullet, the gunshot in the kid's head and everything, and then the kid just slumps to the floor and dies. And the reason why he's being sent off to Bruges is because Harry, who's played by Ray Fiennes, thinks that he should give him a nice experience before he gets Brendan Gleeson to kill him. Brendan Gleeson doesn't even know why he assumes they're just going to lay low for a while. Yeah. And then Harry tells him on the phone, you better fucking kill him. Yeah. He goes, he deserves death. He killed a child, basically. He goes, but I wanted him to, see Bruges before. He goes, I remember going there. He goes, it's like a fucking fairy tale. And then he goes, yeah, he hates it, Harry. He's like, what do you fucking mean he hates it? And I think those three main performances are so good in the film as well. I didn't like Colin Farrell before I saw In Bruges. I thought he was kind of a actor, and then I saw In Bruges and I thought, fantastic.
Oh, wow.
There's a whole great scene with some American tourists who are very overweight, and Brendan Gleeson's going up the tower to see what it is, and he decides he's going to stay down because he doesn't give a shit about tourism and all that sort of stuff, and so he's sitting there, and then the American guy walks up and he goes, so he says something about, is the tower open or something like that, and he's just like, yeah. He goes, you're not going up there. And he goes, what? He goes, why? He goes, well, He's like, why? And he goes, well, you're a bunch of fucking elephants. The American guy tries. I think
it's all very abrasive humor.
Yeah, it's really,
which is so hard to come by now because people are so
it's very right to the throat. It's very straight to
the point. I love it. I really do. I love humor like that because nowadays everyone's always like, well, that's offensive and this is offensive and that's offensive and I'm offended by this and I'm offended by that, and I'm like, oh my god. Just let me laugh, please. I just want to have a good time.
There's not many, films anymore where they make jokes at the expense of dwarves. Little people.
Oh, it's so good. I mean, I think, in context, it's funny and all that. And you shouldn't say that to actual people.
No, of course. But, yeah.
It's so
But it makes sense for these characters to do it because they're not normal people
No.
at all. They're horrible, but yeah, he says that.
I love how bitter she is, though. Like she is so one task. Like I think when I was watching it, I just got this feeling of the mother who's lost everything, does not give a shit. She's taken out all her monies and all her money and put it into these 3 billboards. The scene that like really kind of solidified that, I think, that personal trope for me was like when someone set fire to the billboards and she climbed up.
Yeah, putting him out, yeah.
And, like, was trying to put him out and all that. And, like, I could tell, like, I'm like, it's metal, your hands are going to get burned. And she's just standing there on top of these billboards while it's burning. And she's not even, like, thinking about any, like, the pain. She's just like, fuck. What the fuck? Like, my fucking billboards. But, yeah, she's, like, she pretty much lost everything. Like, I think she... And then, when, obviously she drills a hole in the dentist. And then the police come in and is like, did you drill a little hole in the dentist's thumb? And she's like, no. What are you talking about? Because her mouth is not.
Yeah, from the dentist. Yeah.
So
she's really great in it.
Yeah.
So is Woody Harrelson and so is Sam Rockwell.
I love Sam Rockwell in there. Like, I didn't like his, I think he was the character that I love to hate, but then...
he turns around
and I like that. And I also like
I do love their scene in the interrogation room, though. I thought it was hilarious. When
he coughed. Is this what... Oh, no, I'm thinking of something else.
She goes, "You're still torturing niggas around here?" Yeah. It's not called that anymore. It's called African American torturing. It goes on for like... Then he tells the chief all about it, and he's like, fuck you.
Oh, no, my favourite is when she walks in, she's like, hey, fucking. And then he's
what?
like, what? And he's like, don't reply when she calls you fucking. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I did love the scene where after Woody Harrelson kills himself, when Sam Rockwell goes across the street,
and then beats the shit out of that guy.
Beats the shit out of the guy, and then punches the woman, and then leaves. And then as he's walking back into the police station, the new police chief is just standing there, and he like puts his hand on his hips, and like you see him move the jacket and the badge is there, and you're like, oh, he's fucked.
Yeah.
So
it was a very satisfying feeling, the chief of police going like,
you're a complete moron.
Yeah.
And firing him pretty much.
I felt like I when he changed though, and then he like got beat up.
That's what he needed.
Yeah.
That was the point. He needed to like be brought into line by somebody.
Yeah. Yeah, and I like that. Also one of my other favorite scenes is when he they're driving at the end. So pretty much like the way the film ends is they find out there's a guy
who was bragging about doing it.
Or
doing something like
hurting
it.
another girl.
A girl like it, and it sounded a lot like it, though they didn't have any proof.
Yeah.
And they just decide that they're going to go off and kill him anyway.
And they're in the car, and then obviously like what's her name in the film?
I can't actually.
The main lady, she's driving, and obviously there's a scene before where Sam Rockwell, he's been all burned because
of the fire at the police station,
which she set off.
Yep.
And then she thinks he doesn't know, so she's driving, and then all of a sudden she goes, "I was the one who set fire to the police station." And he turns over and is like, "Who else? Who the fuck else would have
done it?" Yeah.
And then, like, because that was the one thing that was bothering me. I was so scared that he was going to just change back into who he was because he finds out that it was her. And then when he said that, I was actually like, "Oh my god, thank God!" And
it was the thing is as well is that was kind of like really showing you how much he changed. What he because he was like.
Yeah, it's fine. I know I'm scarred for the rest of my life, but my mum will still love me.
I saw the film with my dad, and he thought that was it. That was his father.
Really?
Mother. He was like, "Oh my god, that's."
Oh yeah. I really have nothing bad to say about this film. Like,
no,
it's pretty. It's a well-written, well-directed.
It's funny because it's got Frances McDormand, and it reminded me of like the sort of film that Fargo is, which she was also in back in the 90s, directed by her husband with his brother.
Oh wow,
the Coen brothers. She's married to one of them. I can't remember which one.
One of them, yeah.
But she's married to one of the Coen brothers. And Fargo is a great movie. It's quite funny as well, in a very specific way, kind of like this, but. Coen Brothers are a bit more weird about it, but that's got some great stuff in it. Like in that she's She's basically like a pregnant police officer, you know, trying to uncover what the fuck's going on in Fargo. This frozen wasteland up north in America. And Steve Buscemi's great in it. William H. Macy, who's now in Shameless, he's fantastic in it. Great scene where I think it's Peter Stormare is feeding what's left of Steve Buscemi's body into a wood chipper, and then she turns up
Lovely.
with the gun. It's hilarious. It's just a leg poking out the
Oh
top.
my god, it's like, hello.
It's great.
What you doing?
But yeah, she's even got a great little part in Coen Brothers' last film, Hail Caesar, which is about the film industry in like the 40s. Or 50s? No, might be later. Can't remember. Back a while ago. It's centered around Josh Brolin, basically trying to find his like big lead star, which is George Clooney, who's gone off with a bunch of communists. And they're trying to pretty much take him back to Russia to kind of defect in a way. I can't remember the exact plot, but she's got a scene in it, like she's an editor in like one of the old editing rooms where all the reels are coming in and stuff like that. And he's watching footage, like rushes from a film, with the guy who is now playing Han Solo in the Han Solo film.
Oh god.
He's watching rushes of the film, and then suddenly like burns out and freaks out, and you hear like a gagging noise, and he looks over and her scarf's gone into the machine. She's like getting strangled by it, and he's like, Jesus. Trying to get out of it. Yeah. She's always been pretty good, but yeah.
Yeah, well, I've seen her here and there, because I've obviously recognized
it's like in and out of movies. Like, she's not always in things, but...
No, well, I don't know. I always recommend it to people, Three Billboards, because we've had a few people ask us and I offered it to my parents, but then I was like, I think my dad, because his English is very fluent, he'll understand. My mum doesn't have very fluent English, so I said, don't know if you're going to enjoy it, but it's very funny. They wanted to go see The Post. I said no.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I know. I was like,
my dad saw that and he was like, yeah, it was shit.
Yeah, it looks like shit.
It was like one in one ear out the other. It was just... And that's what Spielberg's getting that way, which is terrible.
Terrifying.
Sucks. The Bridge of Spies was so dull.
I did not even watch that.
Like, I kind of want to see Ready Player One, but
I don't want to see that. It looks like shit.
At the same time, I'm like, like, I get if he's doing it, it could be good, but it could be total shit.
It looks like shite.
CG doesn't look good.
I know. I mean, like, come on, guys. We're in the 21st. Let's not go backwards. Okay, I've seen Avatar: The Last Airbender. Let's not go backwards. That animation was legit. I was like, what did you put money into?
God, I thought you were going to say Avatar as in, like, Avatar.
No, like The Last Airbender. Have you seen the CGI in that?
Yeah.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
It's like...
CGI is shit in a lot of stuff these days, actually. It's even not, like, fantastic in Marvel movies.
Just go see Mortal Kombat.
Oh, God. Like, you seen the CG in the Black Panther trailer?
No, I haven't seen the Black Panther trailer.
Awful.
Really?
There's like a whole sequence where he's like, there's supposed to be some sort of car chase happening, and he of course doesn't need a car. He's fucking fast or whatever. He's running like he was in Civil War, and in that they did it well.
Yeah.
Because I think what they did is God, I can't remember what they did. I think they sped up the footage, and then they also had them like running on something that was being pulled across the ground by the car.
Like, shum.
So they looked like they were like running like really fast, but there was like no CG. It was just them doing it.
Yeah.
And this, it's like, it looks so terrible.
Oh, really?
And he like gets launched off something and like flies up onto a building and like runs across the side of the building and jumps off and like onto the side of the car.
How is that physically possible?
It's not physically possible, which is why it looks so dumb. The CG is bad. I can already tell. No. And it's funny because I quite like the director of the film, but I think it's a case of like he's never really worked with CG before. The last film he made was Creed, which was the Rocky film.
Well, I didn't go see that.
Which is good.
Apparently it was okay.
It's really good, actually. As a sequel to Rocky, it's really good. It means a lot more if you've seen Rocky.
Haven't seen Rocky.
You should.
I know. Everyone's like, you should see it. It's so good. I'm like, you know, for a film student, I don't actually have a lot of like big films.
You haven't seen The Godfather, have you?
I've seen bits of it.
Oh my god!
I've seen other movies make references to it. I've seen the version from Zoo where he's a little pygmy mouse. And he's like, you come today, on the day of my daughter's wedding.
Zootopia. Yeah, that was good. I enjoyed that.
Like, oh, that was so funny. Anyways, I think we should wrap it up now.
Yes.
Because we've been talking for quite a while, and we've had our food, and...
Oh, and I saw Patriots Day. That was pretty good. That's my review. Patriots Day.
Ah, it's very good.
It's about the Boston bombing. It was pretty good.
Okay.
The end. Mark Wahlberg's all right.
Okay. Well, really quickly, we should talk about what we're going to post. So, obviously, we're posting this Saturday, the first week of Feb.
Yes.
Next week, not next week, the week after is actually just after Valentine's Day. No, just before Valentine's. No.
You tell me.
I have the calendar. It will be the 17th, so it will be right before Valentine's Day. I'm going away on the 11th, but we're going to film our Valentine's Day special, which Red is absolutely dreading, and I'm absolutely dreading, because it is going to be 50 Shades of Grey. The trilogy. Not just the 50 Shades Grey Freed, or whatever it's called. All 3 films. I know I've seen the first one, and I've also read the first book. And I had to stop at the first of both of those because I could physically not go on. But
Sucked.
We will watch all 3. I refuse to read anymore because if I have to read another freaking analogy about something to do with caramel and voices.
Didn't people say that the film is actually better because you don't have to
Yeah, exactly. No, it is. Because there's so much fucking inner dialogue in the books. Like let's say you have like a paragraph. It'll be one line of dialogue and then a full 200-word analysis on what that dialogue was for, whether it be what her interpretation of what Christian Grey just said or what she meant by saying those things.
It's like an episode of Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, except I actually enjoy Dragon Ball
Z. Yeah, it is.
Like, you know, so it will drive me nuts. Hang on. 50. I've done this before.
That whip's power is over 9,000. That's 50 Shades of Dragon Ball Z.
50 Shades of Dragon Ball Z. You have no internet here. I looked up 50 terrible lines from 50 Shades of Grey.
Haven't we done this?
We're going to do it again just to remind you.
Shouldn't we save this till the actual...
I don't know. It says here, he reaches between my legs and pulls on the blue string. And gently pulls my tampon out and tosses it into the nearby. You shouldn't throw tampons into toilets. They can clog the drain. Bad Christian. Yeah. Holy fuck. Sweet mother of all. Jeez. Jeez. No, it literally says Jeez.
Jeez, Rick.
Don't you... No, here's another one. Don't you like the butt drawer?
What the fuck?
I don't know.
What's the butt drawer? I don't want to know.
Well, it's like that scene where it's like, what's a butt plug? And then I was watching CinemaSins and he's like, it's a plug
for your butt.
Hang on. He said such lovely things today, but how long will he want to do this without wanting to beat the crap out of me?
Isn't that Honest Trailers, not CinemaSins?
Oh, yeah, it was Honest Trailers, sorry.
A plug for your butt.
I flush. My inner goddess is down on bended knees with her hands clasped in supplication begging me. That sentence
I've seen Charles
barely
Dance
made
read
sense.
that line in a thing.
He's his very own Christian Grey popsicle. I can't. Oh God, I hope.
God, is that woman all right? Jeez.
There's one line which is just "Feel it, baby." I wish you could see your face. Ugh. I won't keep going because it's too much to keep going. But next week, next fortnight, it's a Valentine's Day special.
I'd rather watch the prequels. The Star Wars prequels. They've got lines that sound like that.
They're all trying.
Hey, do you like sand? No.
What about that guy in freaking Last Jedi where it's like salt?
It's salt. He was describing the fanboys.
Salty. I was just going to say, I'm like, is he describing how people feel after watching this film?
Look, it's salt. No one gives a fuck. Disney still made $1 trillion, which is another funny thing about like the rich or bad theme about it. It's like, yep. Who is this made by? Disney. Biggest fucking company ever.
Biggest production company ever. Yeah.
They own everything.
Anyways, 50 Shades. Get ready for it. Valentine's Day special. We really hate ourselves, I know. Yeah. Anyways.
So if you want to cut yourself on Valentine's Day as well, go for it. Yeah, there we go.
That's it. Bye.